PT is at risk, you are not Bill Gates' daughter, unfortunately. Nobody is going to take your job search as seriously as you, because it's not their job search, it's yours. Hello, welcome back to my channel for another flipping banger. So today on today's menu, as you can see by the title, today I'm going to be talking about how to get a job, a postgraduate job in law school. I feel fortunate, I feel lucky, I feel blessed to have gotten multiple offers, which is crazy because it was hard. Okay, let me just tell you, it was really hard. You know? Yeah, so today I'm going to be talking about not only what I did, but just a step-by-step guide that can be helpful to other people. Because I have not seen a video like this. That's actually what's motivating me to make this. I've not seen a video like this. So I think this may be helpful if you do not go to AT14, even if you do go to AT14, because on Reddit, I'm seeing people struggle to get jobs, even if they go to a T14, okay? So here we go. If you see me looking at my phone, looking at my notes. Honestly, it is not abnormal for you to be applying to jobs and be hearing crickets. Honestly, it has nothing to do with you, really. I think that's just how it is. I'm pretty sure I probably did like 300 applications. And the reason I did that was because during my 2L year, despite having a great GPA and having a great resume, I actually struggled to get a job in my 2L year. Well, I did end up having so many jobs. You know, it worked out well for me in the end. However, I was not one of those people. It was not like my 1L year. My 1L year, I had a job in December. In fact, my 1L year, I had multiple options. Okay. That ended up happening as well in 2L, but I would say that 2L was a really big struggle. Be real with your goals, okay? What are your goals? What is the type of law that you want to practice? Now, if the type of law that you want to practice is not too niche, the way mine kind of are, you're probably not going to have a similar problem. A lot of what I want to practice, they don't even really hire entry-level attorneys, which is kind of weird. How do you expect me to get experience if you don't hire me? You know? Anyways, let's leave that there. But what are your goals? Do you want to work in government? Do you want to work in private? Do you want to work at a law firm? Do you want to work in public interest? Do you want to do a clerkship? You need to know exactly what it is that you want to do so that you can make sure that you are applying according to the timelines of those things. For instance, if you want to apply to big law, I remember the applications literally were in the summer of my 2L year. I'm pretty sure, wasn't that summer? Yeah. They were in the summer of my 2L year. So, like, yeah, okay? So, clerkships, you need to know what are their sites. Like, you know, like the Vermont Guide to Clerkships. I can actually attach that here. I can attach all those resources that I used that were helpful to me here. So, after knowing what your goals are, where do you want to practice? Hopefully you're not like me who has no clue where I want to practice. So the earth is my oyster, okay? But I have a good reason for why I don't know where it is that I want to practice, because it makes sense that I don't know where I want to practice, okay? But for people that are sure about where they want to practice, this should be easy breezy beautiful, because you know exactly what to focus on. So I was focusing on the entire East Coast. You don't have to do that, because you know that you either want to work in Virginia or New York, or you already know. So you don't really have to do that. After doing that, you're going to have to put in your mind that I may not get my dream job. I may not get my dream job right out of law school. Okay? You gotta put that in your mind. This is your first job. You don't have to stay stuck in the job. It is your first job ever. It's your first big girl, big boy job. Okay? So, after that, be flexible and be open-minded. Now that you have done that, your GPA is not everything, but it is really important. If you're watching my video and you still have time to make your GPA better, I would say your GPA is really important. Really important. And I feel like a lot of people are going to tell you it's probably not important, but I'm never ever going to be that person. I will always tell you that your grades are really important, and you can never outwork a bad GPA. You can never out interview a really, really bad GPA. Okay? Because if there's two people, one has a great GPA, the other doesn't, they both interview well, you're not going to get that job. So make sure that you're focused on your GPA. Not only that, your resume. Make sure that you are doing things, okay? Make sure that you're trying to get a variety of experiences. A lot of my interviews that I had, a really big thing that they liked about me was the fact that I had really varying experiences. I had done big law, I had done government, I had done, what else had I done? Yeah, big law and government at that point in time. Outside of the jobs that I had prior to law school, I was also a research assistant throughout law school. I was doing a lot of things. So they actually really, really liked that, because that means I can bring a different perspective. So you don't want to just be like, oh, I just want to just do this one thing, right? And then a lot of my research jobs were geared towards other things that were completely different. Like, for instance, intellectual property, or national security law, or civic education, or trans rights, things like that. Extremely different. Make sure that you don't just have your summer jobs on your resume. Make sure that you're actually doing other things out of law school, like during law school, because those things are things that you'll be asked about. Even how you structure your resume is really important. Make sure to put some interests on there. I had one interview where the entire 1 hour interview was about stocks and investing. Yes, I did get that job. And it was not a job about either of those things. The job was about something completely different. So make sure that you put some of your hobbies on there. Like, I put the fact that I play guitar on there. I put the fact that I like stocks, like personal finance, I like making videos, those sorts of things, because you are a person. And I feel like a great place to work will probably value the fact that you are a person outside of your GPA and your resume. Okay? Yeah. Moving on. Network like it's a class. See, I networked in the weirdest way possible. Like I said at some point in this video, I'm an introvert. So I have never, ever been to any of the school events that they held, honestly, because I just felt like I'm not going to thrive in that environment. It's just going to give me anxiety for no reason. The only things that I went to were things that I didn't have a choice but to go to. Like when I worked at a firm, I didn't have a choice. So I did what I had to do. Outside of that, I did not go to like judges night, any of those things, because I just felt like that's not conducive to me. It's really not. Like, there's how many of us in that type of environment? Like 100 people? No. So I just never did that. I did a lot of networking through LinkedIn. I contacted like lawyers and spoke to them and like met with them on video. I actually never met with any like in person like that. I also stayed in contact with the partners of the big law firm, and I kept them like in contact and asked for advice, like for a bunch of different things, and met up with them like consistently, like for check-ins and things like that. And they were I would not say a great resource in my job search, honestly, but they are great mentors. At least one of them is a really great mentor to me that is still a great mentor to me. Not only that, utilize your professors. I have a professor. This man has my heart. Okay, he has my whole entire heart. And that probably sounds weird to say, but no, he actually emotionally has my heart, because he is a good human. He is a person. A lot of the times, or at least my experience, a lot of professors are not human. But this man is an actual human, and he actually cares about his students. He cares about how they're doing. Like, just great person overall. So find professors that actually care about the well-being of their students and talk to those professors. Let them know, hey, this is what I want to practice. I'm struggling to get a job. I'm struggling, blah, blah, blah. Like, go and talk to your professors, because they will be great. Not only that, like, go to mixers. If you are not an introvert like me, go to mixers, go to events, join associations, use informal interviews to get noticed before jobs are even posted. Yeah, literally, I got rejected from this one firm. Like, their one location rejected me, and then their New York City location hired me. And it's like, aren't you guys the same firm? Odd. Very odd to me, at least. But you have to be self-directed. You gotta take initiative, take control of your life, because not every school's career office is helpful. Nobody is gonna take your job search as seriously as you, because it's not their job search, it's yours. So you're gonna have to make a strategy, okay, ahead of time. Make a strategy ahead of time, like months ahead of time, and know that this is my life and take responsibility for it. Stop waiting for someone to come help you with your job search. Okay, you are not Bill Gates' daughter. Unfortunately, you're not. Okay, don't just apply to jobs often, apply smart. Okay, see, now just sending out aimless resumes without a strategy is stupid. Okay, you need to be efficient and you need to be smart about how you are applying. Okay, like, tailor your applications to the jobs that you're applying to. Research the firm, the government, the whatever it is, the boutique, whatever. Mention a recent case or project you worked on. There was this one firm that I just emailed them, and I listened to a podcast, and I just emailed the attorney from the podcast, and she responded, and we met. You see that? And see, this comes natural to me. I'm not doing it to get a job. I genuinely was interested. However, this is a gateway that you can get a job. The reason I do this is because I don't come from a family that can give me these things. So I personally have to go out and seek mentors. I have to go out and seek connections, which I feel like a lot of people have to do that. So go out and seek people. And you don't have to seek them with something to gain. You don't have to gain anything. It can just be a conversation. Like, literally, lawyers love talking about themselves. And that could be the best thing to ever happen to you. Somebody that loves talking about themselves, somebody that loves talking about the law, their field, they're a great person to talk to because they're going to give you information you probably would not have had otherwise. Outside of that, think about applying to smaller firms, smaller organizations, or let's say if instead of federal clerkships, do apply for those, but also apply to some state stuff, apply to some fellowship programs. I have this huge spreadsheet with links, and the reason I actually did that was to keep track of my own job search, but to also one day share it, so that people can go to these websites and to these places to look at them. So if you want that, if you see this video and you want that, just let me know. I will share it with you. Like, just drop your email to me, either on Legally Mundane on Instagram or here, but I feel like you probably would like to private message it. Now that we were talking about a spreadsheet anyway, so I guess I'll stay on topic with this. Keep track of things. Keep track of things and follow up. If you apply for a job and you don't hear back, follow up and ask, hey, I applied for a job 2 weeks ago.
Oh, haven't heard back. What's the status? What's my application like? I'm still interested.
Send thank you emails. Because, and don't even just do this to get a job. Just do this because that's the human you want to be. You want to be a grateful human. You want to be appreciative that you even got an interview, let's say, because a lot of people don't get interviews. Like, you have to be grateful even for the fact that you got an interview, because every interview is practice. It's practice. keep doing them and you will land a great job. I mean, it doesn't have to be what you want exactly, but as a first job, great. Another thing, which is literally, I feel like the meat and sauce of my video, I was extremely unconventional. A lot of the connections that I have made throughout law school and even after, and a lot of the jobs, I literally sent emails. And I was like, hey, my name is ABC. I go to this law school. Hey, this is where I'm from. This is what I like to do. This is what I'm doing in law school. Can I meet with you? If it wasn't, can I meet with you? And I was actually emailing for a job. I would just literally attach my resume and say, hey, like, if you have any jobs, like, just hit me up. Obviously, not in that way. Extremely professional. And surprisingly, I had responses. I interviewed at the top firms, right? And I did not get those interviews through conventional means. Literally, what I did was send an email. Some of the interviews that I got, or even the invites to like submit an application, were literally through emails I had sent in my 2L year. So for instance, I emailed Mint because I wanted to go to a specific, I'm not going to say where, but a specific state in a specific city that was extremely, obviously nowhere near where I go to school. So I emailed them during my 2L year, and they said I should email them in my 3L year. So I emailed them, and literally that's how I got, they asked me for my resume, my cover letter, and gave me a bunch of job openings, and asked me where I wanted to be, whether that was New York or DC. But you know, that's not what I wanted. I actually wanted to be in that one specific place. Yeah. So you want to put yourself out there in that kind of way and actually follow up. I feel like they must have been so surprised. Like, how did you even remember? I remembered a whole year later to follow up. And I feel like the reason it's a lot easier for me is because I genuinely want that. A lot of the things that I do are really genuine, so it's not hard for me to remember. Like, it's not hard for me to remember that you told me to email you because I'm actually paying attention. So another thing is pay attention to the conversations that you're having. Be present, because if all you're thinking is what can I gain? What can I gain? What can I gain? You're not gonna be present, and you're probably just gonna whoever you're talking to is just gonna be another number, another lawyer, another to you. But you don't want that, okay? Even if you don't get a job, don't forget these are connections you are making, especially if you're a first generation student who does not have a family that comes from the legal field or that has support in that way. You're going to need people that you can call and ask for advice. I literally have a little army, of people that I sent my offer letters to, and I was like, hey, is this okay? I share the contract because I obviously don't know. How am I supposed to know? I don't. But they do. So I'm having people that you can call or like you're struggling is so helpful. And I personally, I'm so grateful. Like, I was getting the sweetest rejections. I got rejected from a clerkship. Rejection is normal. It's okay. It's fine. The judge literally called me to reject me. And he literally said, oh, hey, it was so nice talking to you, blah, 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 blah. Like, however, you spent your whole interview telling me how much you don't actually want to practice criminal law. Sorry. Part of being genuine, even how I got the craziest thing, how I even got that interview with that judge was through a different judge. A different judge shared my materials with a different judge. So like a lot of things that I got also were like judges sharing my materials with other people when they're like, oh, let's say I applied to bankruptcy court. I didn't even take bankruptcy. Even if I interview well, and even if I have a great GPA, and even if they like me, it is reasonable for them to go with someone that actually has done this before rather than somebody that hasn't. But you can see that I have to have made a good impression for you to then go ahead and spread my information so that I can get calls. So I never even applied. I literally got interviews with things I never applied to. simply because a judge or a partner shared my resume. So be genuine. Again, all these strategies come down to being yourself, being genuine. You can network, you can get what you want without stepping on anyone's toes, without being competitive and toxic. You can. It's not that difficult to be a decent human being. And I feel like in the legal field, they probably don't speak a lot about being a decent human being, but just be a decent human being. It's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. Be kind to your classmates. If your classmates need help, if your classmates need an outline, be helpful to your classmates. Don't be unnecessarily complicated and not the best person, okay? Because again, these people are going to be your colleagues, and even if they weren't going to be your colleagues, be a decent human. Not that hard. And have conversations with people sometimes with no intention of getting anything from them. Sometimes you just want to chat. That's all that you want. And lastly, rejection is normal. Rejection is normal. Did you hear me tell you that I applied? I don't remember if I'm switching it, whether it was $250 for my 2 year and then $300 for this, or vice versa. As you can see, I applied to over 100 jobs. More than half of those never got back to me at all. In fact, a lot of things that I had didn't even apply. You see that? Okay? Know that rejection is normal. You're going to get rejected. It does not mean that you are not good enough. It means that there's people that are more qualified than you. And if you just put your ego down a little bit, you will understand, and there's no need to be upset. A lot of the time, focus on being qualified, focus on doing your best, focus on giving the best interview that you can, focus on telling your story. Don't tell people how great you are, show them how great you are. And a lot of the time, people want decent humans. I feel like when it comes down to it, people want to work with people that are decent humans to work with, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with these people. Nobody wants to spend time with somebody that's highly confrontational, highly conflicty. You don't want to be that sort of person. And this advice works whether you are an international student, whether you are a domestic student. Now, let me actually speak a bit more to international students. Actually, a friend of mine actually sent me that OPT is at risk. So I'm sorry for the people that affects. I just feel like I just don't see that bill really being passed, because like, what about doctor? Like, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. However, even as an international student, especially as an international student, you want to do these things at a very, very high execution rate, because for you have extra hurdles, whether that's you need sponsorship, because a lot of international students tend to need sponsorship. So for you, your job search needs to start earlier. Even if you have a summer job that promises you a job, still apply, okay, to other things. Still put your eggs in other baskets, okay? And just know, everyone hears no, and no is simply redirection. See, I sound like this because obviously I'm on the other side of it. I do want to tell you that I cried over this. Even if it was really early, I just didn't really understand, because people will make you feel like crazy. But I did cry over this. This was something that caused me a lot of stress, and which is why I thought it would be a great idea to share it with other people that may be experiencing something similar. I will try to edit this video and get it out as soon as I can, because I actually know that a lot of people are still looking for jobs. And at the end of this, you just need one yes. That's it. Okay? That's it. Not only that, the economy is tanked. Trump is cutting like fellowships and things like that. Like I remember the trademark office, their fellowship program gone, like IRS fellowship program for the tax, whatever, gone. So I understand that there's a lot going on. However, don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. Keep trying. Keep putting effort out there. Keep being genuine, because it'll be okay. It'll be okay. You just need one yes, and you just need to work hard, work smart, and work efficiently. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you in my next video. Have a great day.